Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of For Fight's Sakes, your ultimate fight companion. And let's get straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to wait any longer because UFC 319 is happening this weekend with Khamzat versus dricusduplessis. Let's jump straight into it. So the event takes place this Saturday at the United Chicago Center, which I believe has been a while since the UFC has been in Chicago. And ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be an ultimate showdown. For us in South Africa, that means that the main event will be starting at 4 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, get that quick nap in, grab that Monster or Red Bull, whatever tickles your fancy, but make sure you are awake for this one. This will be the third time that dricusduplessis defends his title. And ladies and gentlemen, it will not be an easy one because he is going up against Boris, the Wolf. It's going to be a tough one. Dricusduplessis has bested some very worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking Israel Adesanya, I'm talking Sean Strickland. But the same can go for Khamzat, having beaten people like Gilbert Burns. And ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a big one because Khamzat has not been defeated since his UFC debut in 2020. So as it stands, Khamzat has 100% takedown defense. How crazy is that, dude? From 2020, this guy has never been taken down. And I'm pretty curious to see if Dricus will be able to do it. On the card, we've got Aaron Pico going up against Leronemurphy. That's going to be a banger. Obviously, Aaron Pico coming in from Bellator with potential to really cause an upset in the UFC in the featherweight division. So I'm really keen to see that. But Leronemurphy is a beast when it comes to striking. This guy has so many knockouts. That is crazy, and he is well on his way to his title bout. So it'll be very interesting to see how Aaron Pico comes into this one. But there's a lot of noise going on against about Aaron Pico. So let's see if he lives up to the hype. Another fight that we want to look at is Jaredcannonier versus Michael Venom Page. Well, that's going to be a fight. We speak about it a bit later in the podcast, but Jaredcannonier obviously coming up from fighting even in the heavyweight at some point, coming to fight Michael Venom Page, who we know is an elite striker, so that will be an action-packed fight. Jeff Neal going up against Carlos Prates, brilliant fight, I rate. As I said as well in the podcast, as you'll see later, I don't think that Carlos Prates should be fighting Jeff Neal. I think he should be shooting and fighting guys way up in the division. Mainly because he is that guy, but due to his previous performance, I'm not shocked that they would give him someone like Jeff Neal. Not to take anything away from Jeff Neal, but for a guy trying to fight for the title, I think that had he won his previous fight, he would have been fighting someone of a more worthy name in the UFC right now. So we've also got Tim Elliott going in against Kai Asakura. Kai being the favorite for that fight in the flyweight division. We've got Jessica Andrade versus Lupi Godinez, which I think is going to be a pretty dope fight, one you might want to look out for. And it will be fascinating to see if Jessica Andrade can come back, if she can make her way up that strawweight division. So we'll see, man. A lot of drama unfolding in the UFC 319 card, as we have King Green having dropped out and a few other fighters as well. The tough welterweight final was supposed to happen, but apparently it's not happening anymore. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we have the drama with Brian Battle. Brian Battle failed to make weight again by 4 pounds, which is like 1.8 kilograms, which is crazy, bro. That's how strict those weigh-ins are. But yeah, he has to forfeit 30% of his winnings or his purse to the other fighter because of that same reason. Ladies and gentlemen, let's step right into the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And at the end of the podcast, I will be putting down who I think will be winning this and my favorite picks. So let's go for it. Let's jump straight into it. Let's go. Thank you.
Why were you shocked? Why were you shocked to see Michael Venom Page?
Because it's at middleweight.
So
Against,
Jared Cannonier.
That's the thing, bro. This brother fought at heavyweight. Man, Michael Venom Page, you know, he had like a gentleman's agreement with a guy to fight at 165. Like, I hate to say it, but I foresee a bit of a strength discrepancy here.
I do too. And let me tell you something. I don't think Cannonier is going to be out there to play around with him, bro.
No, no,
Like, he's not going to try and put on a show like Sharapov and all of that type of stuff. It's going to be strictly business. Jared Cannonier knows that he can't afford to lose any fights at this point.
mm,
And
yeah,
I really hope his height can work to his advantage and his reach, because if he can't, I mean, he's got those kicks, right? That can
yeah,
hopefully keep Cannonier away. But if he lets Cannonier get too close, bro, you know he can easily put him down, bro.
yeah. No, look, I know. I'm just wondering why he took this fight because he said that he was more interested in fun fights and upper weight class and against Jared Cannonier. Like this doesn't seem like that kind of fight.
Here's the thing about Michael Venom Page that I've realized, bro. A lot of the time, they are willing to take those fights because they've seen something that they think they can bring to the table to defeat this guy.
Mm,
Remember, Michael Venom Page called out Sharapov, bro. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but that was
After
a
watching him fight, just after watching him
mm,
fight and pull off that back spinning that everyone was
yeah,
going crazy about, Michael Venom Page was like, "Hey, give me that guy," because he saw something. He saw
yeah,
something, and he
yeah.
made a
Look,
clinic out of it in there, bro. Sharapov could not get close to this guy at all,
no,
and
look,
whenever he did, he broke his nose, bro. That thing
yeah, look,
was nasty.
look. From a strategic point of what happens in the fight, I get that. In terms of from a strategic standpoint, in terms of career, I don't know why in that sense. So why are they not doing like him and Wonder Boy? Like how fun would that be?
That would not be fun. That is not a
No,
clash of styles at all.
no,
That
of course not. It's
that would
the
just be a kicking contest,
yeah.
and
I want to see
that's
that.
not a fun fight. I would rather watch
Yeah, but
this
I'm
fight rather than the Wonder Boy fight. And also, I can still argue that Wonder Boy still sees himself fighting for the belt. Another fight that I'm looking forward to is that Prates one, dude. But
yeah. Look,
like,
that's that. I think outside of the main event, I think that's the one to watch
it's the one to watch. But I think Carlos Prates
in
needs to be
terms of
careful.
excitement.
But he needs to be careful.
Yeah, no,
He needs to be careful, not to take anything away from Jeff Neal, but not for Jeff Neal, but for being classed at that as that fighter who could have been. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because he's such a brilliant fighter. I don't care that he smokes, bro. I don't care that he drinks. Live your life. Find
mm,
a balance. That's fine. You know what I mean? But for the most part, when it comes to coming into the octagon and putting on a show, put on a show, bro. His last fight, I was not impressed at all, bro.
yeah,
Especially
I'm with you.
coming from a camp where you guys are so analytical. You tell us how much you guys are always studying your opponent and all of those things. You yourself, your striking is ridiculous, but then you don't showcase it. I don't know.
Nah, look, I'm
Is it
with
like
you.
a thing with the fight nerds where they're like, okay, you better not get knocked out. Let's see who gets knocked out first, or what is it? Is it the fear of getting knocked out? Because it was a boring fight, and I know he's capable of
Mm,
giving us more, bro. That's the upsetting part.
yeah, and Jeff Neal's not the type of guy that you want to give the lead away to because he'll
Exactly.
make it work for him, bro.
But also for Carlos Prates, if he had won that fight, he wouldn't be fighting someone like Jeff Neal, bro.
He'd be
He would
fighting higher up on the
he would be
rankings for
fighting
sure.
way higher up. He's just delaying
Mm,
himself by I don't know if it's anxiety in the ring or whatever it is, but like
mm,
he needs to put a stamp and put some respect on his name, bro.
mm. Now, look, I
Aaron,
feel you, bro.
what do you know about Aaron Pico?
Oh, okay. So Aaron Pico, big time wrestler. He came over. It was actually really interesting because there was like a whole thing where people were like gyms were his his team at some stage.
Say that again.
Like they were
You froze.
like their gyms and stuff were vying to be like his team and stuff like that, and and Bellator was really looking after him. Eventually, he settled with oh shit, I'm forgetting their names at Greg Jackson's.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of gone around. He had a couple of fights. Yes, bro. When he goes for the finish,
On the ground
is
or
it
standing?
oh, standing. Oh, it's
Oh.
spectacular.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the knockouts! Like I've seen he had a body shot knockout that was spectacular. Wow, it was really really good. And he's had some really good finishes, some mean finishes. You know, they were sort of grooming him to be like their next golden boy, and you know he
Who?
kind of stumbled a little bit. Aaron Pico,
No. Who was grooming him?
oh Bellator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where he was signed for.
Mm-hmm.
Signed before. They were kind of grooming him for that, and he kind of stumbled a little bit, and built his way back up, and stumbled a bit, and but he's a solid fighter. Um, Definitely not someone for Lerone to overlook.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, obviously Lerone Murphy's really good himself. I want to say almost too technical a fighter, if such a thing exists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like there's sometimes in his fights where he could have gotten the finish had he just taken more chances and like risked it a little bit just to really go out there and finish. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but otherwise, on a technical level, oh, his striking is crisp, his wrestling is good, his grappling is good. Like he's a legit guy. Just I'm not sure how he does when his back's against the wall and he has to fight out of some bad spots because he's just so technical and he's trying to be in charge of the round every minute. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I'm hoping Aaron Pico makes this more of a back and forth battle because then either we get to see, all right, Aaron Pico can handle this and be in the UFC, and then we'd get to see, all right, does Lerone have the resolve to really push for a title?
Dude, is it just me, or when you see that a fighter's fought Josh Emmett, like it kind of puts a stamp on his name? It's just, I don't know, bro. Like Josh Emmett punches hard, bro.
Dude.
Like if
Oh
I see
man,
him
like
under your win history, I'm like, okay, you can handle yourself.
yeah, no,
Ryan,
look.
I've got a question
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, I'm ready for you.
Okay, I'm Dricus Duplessis. You Khamzatchimaev. For obvious reasons, because I'm just worried, you might just kiss too much of Dricus's ass that, there's marks when he has to walk into the octagon. Looking like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
went for
Look,
some cupping massage things and it's just your lips there, bro. Because, damn.
oh,
But,
okay.
dude,
Look,
you
yeah.
are Khamzatchimaev. What's your game plan against Dricus Duplessis?
Oh, look, I could never really visualize myself as that guy, but I could definitely visualize myself as his coaches.
Okay.
And I think, look, realistically, there's two main things he has to achieve if he's going to have any kind of success.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he has to be the advancing fighter. He has to be the one putting the pressure on. That's number one. Number two, he has to control the pace of the fight. right? Things need to move at the speed that he wants it to move at, not a half step slower or faster than he wants it to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Because if you let Dricus push you back and you let him set the tempo, he's going to break you down and maul you. So look. Obviously, we all have questions about Khamzat's conditioning. We hear that he's gone to some extra lengths to build up the cardio for this fight.
Apparently, his conditioning is on point right now, bro.
But this is what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that they had him there with old Sam Calavita in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, and
With
the man's
Arman
a mad
Sarukian as
scientist.
well there on the side.
Yeah. Look, well, you got to have good cardio, and that man approaches it very clinically. So that's
Mm.
if your
Just a
cardio
side
sucks.
note. Just a side note, bro. I've never understood what is wrong with Hamzat's cardio. Because when you watch his training, sorry to cut you, when you watch his training, he's going above and beyond, bro. This guy is constantly on the mats, sweating tons of water, like it's crazy. And he is relentless with his wrestling. Why does he struggle so much with his cardio? That
So
even with a guy who we didn't rate had a cardio in the beginning before he fixed all of that. Now we're starting to question Hamzat's cardio against Dricus. Like, what is it? Because
so
I don't get it.
okay. So I can tell you, just on the comparison side. So obviously we knew there was a bit of a cardio issue for Dricus, but it was partially a misunderstanding in what his style is, because his style kind of makes it seem like he's tired, even though he's not. So there was always that bit of an issue. But in terms of Khamzat, something that personally I've learned a lot about it recently is, so you've got different cardio zones that you can perform at. Each zone is a certain amount of heartbeats per minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I've come to discover in myself and some of the other guys I'm training with, that we've discovered, is if you're lacking too much in one of those areas, it affects the overall cardio ability,
So what are you saying,
right?
man? You
Okay.
going in circle? What are you saying?
Okay. All
Why?
right. So I can give you in my example. I sucked at zone 2. My high intensity and my low intensity stuff, the numbers were really good. But my zone 2, which is kind of that in between
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
spot for me,
Mm-hmm.
really sucked, right?
Okay.
So the switch over from going high intensity to low intensity, it's like it's solid from the high intensity, and then there's a big gap where the
Okay.
switch over is meant
So
to
he doesn't
take
have a
place.
gray area. He's just trying to. He's just on. So it's either he's on
Yeah,
or
that's the
he's.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's he's probably got a similar thing to me, in a sense that his high intensity stuff is insane, and that's why he can get in there and it looks like he's sprinting through the wrestling exchanges, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that there's a middle phase that he's missing, so that when that explosive burst ends, he's then got too many gears to shift down
Mm,
to get
mm,
back to cruising level,
mm.
right?
Okay. That kind of makes sense, I guess. That kind of makes sense because if he's
Yeah.
not going, like, Kamsa doesn't have to think in that octagon much. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because he doesn't allow you to think because of his high intensity. So he does
mm,
what he wants half of the time. That's why a lot
mm.
of the fighters that manage to properly slow down the fight, he has a problem with. Guys that know
Yeah.
how to really control the pace of the fight, he has a problem with. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And also guys that have that second gear, like Gilbert Burns. You know what I mean? He struggled
No,
with
no,
him
exactly.
because Burns knows when to retract and have his guard up, right? And at the same time, he's brilliant with the high intensity, and he knows that he can protect himself on the ground, so that he's not always
Mm,
so panicked in there, right?
yeah. No, look, I get you. And the thing with Burns is as well is for him with Khamzat, he was more of a threat hitting the mat than Khamzat was in terms of submissions. So it's not like in his other fights where, okay, he shoots, he gets the takedown, okay, he's on the back, and then he's fishing for a choke, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With Burns, there's too much that can happen in between hitting the mat and getting to the submission.
Mm,
So
mm,
that forced the fight to go longer than what he's used to, which is why we started to see him fade a little bit,
mm,
and struggle towards the end. And that's why I think it's very important for him in this fight. He has to pressure forward. He has to control the pace. It must be at his pace and nothing else. And he just needs to look for that finish. Because, look, I'm sure that they fixed his cardio to some extent, but it would be reasonable to set your deadline for the end of the second round. If that fight goes past that point, his chances of winning go down significantly. Right?
okay, so I'm dricusduplessis, right?
Yeah, tell me what you think.
As dricusduplessis, hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie.
Of course.
Of course, of course. But as Dricus, bro, I think everyone's saying the same stuff. Like weather the storm. If you can get through to round 3, 4, 5, then you've got it. But I've got a different approach, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
personally, I don't see this fight going past the second round. And
Is that either way?
I think to Dricus for sure, not for
Okay.
sure, but like to Dricus for several reasons. Well, not
Okay.
reasons, but like what I would do, right? So if I'm
Okay.
Dricus, bro, I'm telling you, I am looking for that knee. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I,
Up the
I I'm
middle.
I'm looking for that knee up the middle from get go, bro. I'm looking for it. I know that I'm much heavier than you, right? So I'm not too worried about um, making my way out of your wrestling so much because I don't see Khamzat submitting Dricus Duplessis at all. Right?
Mm,
If he could submit as much as he could wrestle, that would be a problem. Right?
mm,
But I don't see that. Khamzat likes to take the back. That's one thing I've realized. That's where he's more comfortable. Right? In front,
mm.
he's very hesitant, especially in the octagon, because he knows that something can come from any angle. Right? So I would. Are you still there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm still with
oh.
you.
So
Yeah,
what
I'm
I would
just
do is,
intently listening.
what I would do is, I would really try to focus on my um working my striking against the cage,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, simply for the fact that if he's against the cage, it's going to be a bit harder to try and take him down, right?
So are you
Um,
saying you want Drickus with his back up against the
yeah,
cage?
I want Dricus with his back up against the cage. Not
Okay.
at all times, but I need him there because the problem is if he stays too long there, Hamzat is going to start throwing those straights, right? We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sorry, I'm listening.
you just went off.
Yeah, sorry. Camera. I was plugging in the charger. Shit. There we go. Am I back?
Hmm.
There we go. Sorry about that. Some
Right?
technical difficulties.
I'm not worried about fighting against the cage
Mm-hmm.
because that means that I'm not giving this guy my back, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he has your back and as a heavier guy, no matter what you can do, bro, if he puts his weight towards the back, you're gonna fall backwards. And that's what Hamza does, dog. That's what he wants. right? So I'm talking knees. I'm talking back against the cage a lot of the time. Don't be scared. He's going to obviously put the pressure, but when we're striking, we can go forward. But for the most part, I'd like to see him up against the cage a bit more, right? Because at the end of the day, they're not going to stand there in the middle and do a Max Holloway, right?
Mm,
So I don't want him to be too scared of being taken down. And I think if Hamza does not manage to get his back, he won't have the momentum to drag Dricus down like he did with Gilbert Burns.
mm,
Because he goes on your side and then he drags you forward and then he pushes you back quickly. You lose your balance, you're on the floor, right?
mm.
So those are the type of things that I'm looking for out of Dricus. And I really hope he utilizes his knees and elbows for those short clinches, right? And I would like to see
Okay.
him. Um, Look, the sprawl is going to be a very vital tool for him, bro. Like I see a lot
Mm-hmm.
of that. I see a lot of that in that fight. So that's all I'm going to say from my side. I think Dricus has more of a chance of submitting Khamzat than Khamzat has of submitting Dricus. And like he said, Khamzat can take him down for sure, but he can't keep him there, bro.
Mm,
I don't think he can keep him there, right? So that's it from me, bro. But yeah, and there's always room for the head kick with Khamzat,
oh yeah.
especially with the way Dricus throws it.
Mm,
Dricus throws that head kick so fast for a guy his size, bro, and it's because it looks just as unorthodox as his fighting style. You do not see that thing coming, bro.
yeah.
And I get shocked when I
Mm.
see guys block that thing. Like, how did you see that coming? That would have knocked me the fuck out, right? But yeah,
I'm with you,
now
bro.
let's switch the roles. I'm Khamzat, right?
Yeah.
I'm Khamzat. I changed nothing. Changed nothing. From get
Okay.
go, I'm trying to get this guy down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get him scared of the takedown. Because once you take him down and you waste half of the first round on wrestling and you're the dominant one, then you really demoralize the guy. And I see it when Khamzat fights, they are really petrified of being taken down, right?
Mm,
Second round, you strike, bro. You strike. Khamzat has a mean right, straight,
mm,
and Dricus's defense leaves room for that. I don't think he can put him down with it, like not lights out type of thing. But I think it could really work in his favor when he can switch between the wrestling and the boxing. I don't want to say kickboxing because Hamza doesn't kick as much as I would like to see him kicking, bro. And
mm,
if he did, I would then put something on the table like take out his front leg. You know what I
mm,
mean? Dricus is very heavy on his front leg. We know that, bro. You know, you know that
mm,
as well. You know, and it's dependent on how he fights, and that's good and well because he can take those hits. But we saw it with Strickland, bro. That if you chop
mm,
that tree down from the bottom, it's gonna fall. You know what I mean?
mm. Yeah.
You're
All
Dricus.
right.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Hmm. If I'm honest with you, I think Dricus is it's a very similar approach. I'd say he kind of just needs to do what he does: press press forward and just keep throwing shit at him. All right, it's because Dricus is one of those guys like it. People are always talking about how awkward his style is. It seems sloppy or whatever, but he'll find a way to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He can take the shots you're throwing back, and he can keep coming forward. So we haven't really seen anyone touch Khamzat's chin. Gilbert Burns got the closest, and we saw Khamzat was panic shooting quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
when he cracked there. And that's Gilbert Burns, who was originally a lightweight and then came up. this is now a big dricusduplessis. That's
Mm-hmm.
a massive guy. That's, I mean, I don't know if you saw recently, there was that thing where even Tom Aspinall was saying, like,
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
just plain wrestled, he was just like, this dude is fucking strong. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
heavyweight fucking champion is saying the middleweight champion is surprisingly strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, that tells you. So I think in one aspect, he doesn't have to worry about the wrestling too much, because something that Khamzat does to a lot of the guys is he outmuscles them when he gets down there.
Mm.
Right? He gets a hold of them, and the guys just don't have the power to break it off. Right? I severely doubt that that's going to be the case with Trickus.
Mm.
Right? I
Mm.
think his strength is another tier up from Khamzat, and probably a couple of tiers up from what Khamzat is used to fighting against.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think those wrestling exchanges are going to be a little heavier on Khamzat than he's used to it being.
Mm.
That's going to fatigue him faster, which means the hands are going to come down lower than they were before, and Dricus is going to find a shot and put him down. How long that takes, I'm not sure, because I'm sure Khamzat will get at least a takedown in round
Mm.
one,
Mm-hmm.
maybe round two.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dricus gets up from there much faster than Khamzat's expecting, and probably faster than most people are expecting. And look, from a guy that grapples as well, there is nothing more fucking demoralizing than you hit a good takedown, you take the guy down, and he just pops right back up to his feet. Oh, it's
Mm. Mm.
demoralizing as shit, because no matter how clean it is, you had to work to get that takedown, and this guy just boop, pops back up. Now you take down, and that the takedown means nothing, and you wasted that energy.
Yeah. And the
Right?
last thing you want is to find yourself at the bottom of dricusduplessis pause.
Oh
That would
yeah,
the
no
ground and
sir.
pound from there would be a mess, bro.
Oh,
It would be a mess.
it's
As he
horrible.
comes out, it would be a mess.
Oh yeah,
So
especially
I think there's a lot of danger with trying to shoot for takedowns, and I don't think Khamzat is still going to be very
yeah. Look,
keen to just be shooting as much as he does.
yeah,
And another thing is, if he's gonna shoot and he's already tired, then he's not gonna
mm,
take down Dricus. You know
no,
what I
he's
mean? And
definitely
that's why we're
not.
saying he needs to shoot in the first 2 rounds, and because that's when his cardio will be at his peak, and that's where he'll have the
Mm,
strength to bring down someone like Dricus Duplessis.
mm, mm. No, look, I agree, and I think, see, it's a bit of a toss up. You almost need to, if you're Hamza, to just repeatedly take him down and not fight him when he tries to get up, just to fatigue
Mm,
him a little bit, so then you can have an easier time holding him down. But then it comes down to this thing of, okay, who starts fatiguing first, and who starts showing it in their movement first,
yeah,
right?
but I also think if Dricus manages to use that reckless teep kick of his,
Yeah,
I think I
that's
think he
dangerous.
I think that thing would be dangerous, and not only that, it will make Hamzat want to stay away from it, and it'll
Mm,
make him think twice about shooting. It's either Dricus has to do something in the first round to kind of warn Hamzat about the shooting, like for the
mm,
takedown, or he's going to have to always worry about it until the third, fourth round.
mm.
You know what I mean? And that's how I
Yeah.
think he may be able to weather the storm. But then again, bro, then again, this is the wolf boss, bro.
Mm. Yeah, look.
He's a beast,
No,
and
he is.
personally for me, bro, like this is one of those fights where I leave it out of my bet card.
Oh, yeah. I
Because
lie. I bet on that fight. I bet
nah,
on it, dude.
nah,
I bet on
nah.
that. I bet on that fight pretty much as soon as they announced it.
I don't want to watch it with that thing of I want um someone to lose, or I can't, or like I'm just anxious the whole time.
Yeah,
I want to enjoy the fight. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
This is also part of the reason why I bet so long ago. I don't even remember how much I fucking bet. So it's just like I've forgotten about that money already. So
Let us dive into my picks for UFC 319. So, as much as Brian Battle did not make weight, I am still going to go and pick him as the winner of this fight. That's the only fight that I will be betting on in the prelims. In the main card, I will go for Jared Cannonier, only for the reason that I think Jared Cannonier has more to prove in this fight than Michael Venom Page. Jared Cannonier cannot go with another loss again. He's one of those guys that has stressed how important this business is to him and how it puts food on his table. So as much as Michael Venom Page is a showman, I don't think Jared Cannonier is gonna go in there trying to play around, man. The next fight goes to Carlos Prates, in my opinion. I think Jeff Neal is a brilliant striker, but I think Carlos Prates, as I mentioned before, had a very disappointing previous fight, so I think he has a lot to prove. He's part of the Fight Nerds, so I can only imagine that the competition there and all of that can get a bit hectic, so I doubt he will want to disappoint the rest of the team. Apart from that, he's a brilliant fighter. Looking at the next fight in the featherweight bout, I think Leronemurphy is going to take this one against Aaron Pico, only because I think Leronemurphy is at that point in his career where he needs to fight for the belt. He's proven it time and time again. He's a clinical striker, and I don't see this going any other way but in his favor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the main event of the evening, the middleweight bout between Khamzatchimaev versus dricusduplessis. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be a patriot, and for this one, I'm going to go for dricusduplessis. He is the underdog. He always is, but he never disappoints. I think there's a lot that we haven't seen from him, and I think Khamzat is going to bring that out of him in this exact fight. Khamzat is nothing to play with, man. Like a sore ankle, he ain't nothing to play with. But I think Dricus will have the answers. I was a bit worried when I saw them meeting for the first time towards the fight, like when I don't know if it was the airport or what, because Khamzat looked very big as opposed to Dricus. But at the weigh-in, they looked pretty evenly matched, which is also not a great thing because I thought Dricus would be looking a bit heavier or bigger than the guy. So will Khamzat be able to take him down and ragdoll him for a bit? Yeah, I think he might. But is Dricus resilient enough to pull through? I think he does. And ladies and gentlemen, those are my picks for the evening. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Really looking forward to hearing from you guys what you think about these fights. What do you think of my picks? And will you be watching the fight? But that is it from us tonight at 456. Have a good one.